everyone. Welcome back, finally, to the Film Appreciation Podcast. I'm your host, Nick. I'm joined by Isaac and Marlon, as always. It's been many a moon, and now we're back.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
When was the last episode?
So I actually don't remember.
I don't remember either. I don't even actually remember what we did.
Pretty sure it was like September, maybe August.
Oof.
You know, and we've fallen off the radar because when I search Fap's podcast out,
Does it come up?
it just comes up with porn again.
What was the reason why we had a huge break the previous time?
Before this one?
Yeah.
It's probably
I'm assuming
July holidays and
no, but I'm
exams.
assuming it was exams.
Well,
I reckon
it
it was
had to have
exams,
been,
and
yeah.
then we did it, and then we had exams again.
Yeah. But this one didn't feel like there was major exams. This one just felt like it just kept
You were
sort of
away.
snowballing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it definitely was exams at some point. And
Well, we had exams about 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the 3 weeks prior to that, you were in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's nearly,
That's a month.
2 months.
Yeah. But I couldn't believe that when we actually looked. Because Marlon just sent a text randomly to the chat. He was just like, what the fuck's happening to our podcast? Like, it just doesn't exist anymore. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
We actually kind of like...
Yeah, start of September is the last time, and it is now the start of December.
Excellent. And we're going to
the
talk
time
about...
member that was 3.5 months earlier.
Jesus.
3.5 months. I suppose it's good for me. No editing load.
I'm halfway through June.
Oh, jeez.
2 episodes in 6 months.
Honestly, that's
kinda
actually...
fine, though.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't mind
It's
it.
more about, like... The main thing that the podcast does, I think, for us, is that it's always, like, an excuse to meet up.
Yeah.
And, like,
socialise.
and watch... And
keeps
also
us watching movies.
Keeps us watching movies, which is good.
Yeah.
But in terms of the episodes, like, it should never feel like a chore.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of like that, we're finally here and, like, the stuff we're going to talk about is stuff that we're all very interested in.
The only thing for me now about this, which is a chore, is editing. But I've just figured out how to make that go so quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not even actually like a big disincentive, you know?
Yeah.
This completely outweighs having to go, edit. Takes like 10 seconds now.
But I mean,
yeah.
when it was the peak, it was like every 4 weeks you had to be editing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like...
And like
it's
doing uni
crazy.
as well.
It's crazy.
The last episode we filmed, my hair was practically touching my upper back.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Which
I
was
think-
in September.
I
That's
think
just,
I haven't gotten a haircut actually since.
no, it looks...
he hasn't shaved either.
Yeah.
It's just the same. It's exactly the same.
It's like straight homeless. My mom was actually saying the other day, like, how I look homeless. I'm like, that's the idea, man. No one wants to talk to you if you look
Yeah,
homeless.
that's
It's just, you can just do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
Just chill.
I could see that. I could see you just walking in,
Yeah.
like, slides,
Who's this guy?
Japanese muscle shirt. No one speaks to you. No one talks to you.
And then, like, I'm in a class and, like, say something, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
It's like a psychology class. He's got his can't book. It's like, fuck this guy. I'm not talking to this guy.
Yeah.
Even the professor's looking at like, who is that? What the fuck is that? Anyway, what is cool is that we actually have things that are really good to talk about. Even though, like, for people who actually wanted consistent film updates,
Out the window.
fuck yourself. We're talking about things that are like 3 months old. But I think if we didn't cover the movie I'm about to introduce on this podcast, it would be a great disservice to the entire world,
That listens.
Yeah.
which is us.
Yeah.
It actually,
When we check it.
Caleb, my brother asked me my
And
opinion.
EC Lewin, Elaine. Thank you, Elaine. Elaine actually does
That's
listen,
true.
apparently.
My brother asked me
One
my
real
opinion on Civil War.
Yeah.
Because he just recently watched
I
it.
don't remember that movie.
And that's why I said, let me go watch the podcast real quick. I sat there and listened to it, and I was like, here's my opinion.
It's like 30 views.
Yeah.
Bro, you should have
like
just sent him the link. I don't even
Yeah,
know.
actually.
I've documented it.
Yeah.
4 are from him editing it. 3 from me copying the link onto the Faps podcast Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, the likes are just me.
Yeah, and your different accounts.
Anyway.
No, so we are going to talk about One Battle After Another, Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie. I know it's 3 months old. We'll get over the fact
Most
that
recent.
It's most recent
Yes.
movie, yes. His last movie was Licorice Pizza,
2021.
2021, a movie I absolutely adore. It's one of my all-time favourite movies.
I think we all saw it in cinema.
I don't know why. I've never analysed why I like it so much, but it's just one of those. I'm very attached to it for whatever reason. But I was very excited about One Battle After Another, and before it came out, there was a lot of praise. Everyone was like, "This new movie by PTA is fucking crazy. It's going to be good." Blah blah blah. we bought 70mm screening tickets.
Didn't we? I forgot about
Opening night, it was a sold-out cinema. And honestly, there's really nothing better than that experience.
At Palace.
At Palace James Street, thank you for facilitating that. And it definitely was up there in terms of some of my all-time favourite movie-watching experiences. The last time we had a similar experience was Oppenheimer, 70mm.
Yeah.
This one was much smoother though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, we got delayed.
It got delayed, but that was kind of part of the enjoyment. And we did have a bigger group
Yeah, it was
as
like
well.
8 of us.
But there we got to turn up. Didn't we get wine or something?
Yeah, so we didn't know, but with the ticket, complimentary drink and I think nibblies or just drink.
Yeah.
But that was nice. So, Nick and I shared Isaac's drink and
That's right.
try not to spill glasses of red wine in the pitch black.
Yeah.
But it was full. It was good. And
obviously the experience of seeing it on 70mm as people who really appreciate cinema, it makes a difference. And I don't know if you saw it. Oh, you did. We went together.
Yeah.
We went together. We all saw it a second time, and we saw it digitally projected. And I think the difference was noticeable. Not that I would say the experience was detracted, but there is something special about the whole roll of the film, the crack and the snap, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we won't keep talking about the technical elements. We'll get into the actual meat and potatoes of the movie. So, Leo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, got to mention him, very important. New actress, Chase Infinity, Tiana...
Crazy name.
Is it Tiana Taylor? I think that's right, Tiana Taylor, who plays Perfidia. Anyway, the film's basically about this group called the French 75, a fictitious... basically, like, who are the crazy people?
Antifa.
Antifa.
Oh,
They're basically like an
in
Antifa.
the movie.
They're basically like an Antifa group who are going against the tyrannical USA border regime, which obviously part of the controversy around the film, very much politically charged to an extent. We will get into that because I think the arguments that it's some just political manifesto is ridiculous. But basically, you got the French 75 that's led by Perfidia, and Leo is kind of like second in command. He plays his original name I don't remember, but he plays Bob Ferguson, and they're rebels. At the start of the movie, they meet Colonel Lockjaw, played by Sean Penn, who's so amazing. It's insane.
So
His
good.
character is so insane. And that starts an infatuation with Lockjaw and on Perfidia. He becomes obsessed with her, leads to conflict. Eventually, she gets captured. The French 75 all get like murdered or they go into hiding. And then you cut to 16 years later, which is like where the actual movie properly takes off. And Leo and his daughter, Willa, who's Chase Infinity, have to run away, essentially, from Colonel Lockjaw. There's more to the plot, but I can't be bothered to explain the whole thing. And that's the film. And what do we think?
Great movie. There's so much to say.
Where do you start,
I almost don't want to get into like the thematic analysis at first. I kind of want to talk about like what just makes it a good movie in terms of enjoyment.
Sure.
The performance is obviously great, but the way like the characters are written is so good.
Yeah.
Like their relationships, like specifically Bob and Willa. Like that relationship is so good because Willa is such an independent character.
Yeah.
And like throughout the story, like she actively almost saves herself and so on. And Bob is never like the like strong male guy. Like he's just sort of there.
He's not
like,
even.
he's
He's
like
not
a
even the
cheerleader.
hero. He's
He's just like
He's the one constantly getting saved or the helping hand, essentially.
Yeah.
For a lot of it.
But that's actually what makes his character endearing and B compelling. Is that he's actually totally incompetent, and it's not that he's always been incompetent. He was very good, but part of the hilarity of the movie, he's like a stoner and is kind of neurotic and all these things.
Yeah.
And suddenly, because it all kind of takes place in real time.
Yeah.
Colonel Lockjaw attacks this town that they're in. He has to escape, and he has to sort of come up with a plan off the cuff to save his daughter. And he's just been smoking weed for 16 years, and he's totally incompetent. Like, obviously, he's going to fuck things up.
Yeah.
And but you root for his character because you know he's trying and you know he loves his daughter. And immediately with what you said about the relationship, the writing is so on point and sharp that they only have really one scene together before the plot kicks off and they're separated. And yet that's enough for me to get so involved in their relationship and to care so much about what happens. Like the stakes are through the roof, even though there's not crazy action and things happening all the time.
Yeah, well, when we first meet them in that 16 years later part, it's essentially him being a paranoid nutcase. Yeah. You know, incredibly overbearing on Willa. No phones allowed, etc. Why is there a car in our front yard? Yada yada yada. And then it all hits the fan, and he can't remember the one thing he's had to for the last 16 years. So that all that preparation is for nothing, and part of it is about losing Perfidia. There's that sort of dependency on drugs through that pain. But it's actually in the trailer is the scene where he's on the phone and he can't remember the password.
Yeah.
or the secret code. And it's actually one of the... Not that... Actually, the entire film is hilarious.
Yeah.
It is great, but it's one of the original funny scenes in the movie. And I saw it a second time with my dad, and he was in it scratching his head a bit because from the trailer he thought it was just about a fuck up of a dad going through life continuing to fuck up. He thought it was titular one battle after another, literally just fucking shit up. And so his mind was completely blown when it got into this whole partially political, insane abduction sort of plot. But beyond Willa and Bob, I think my favorite relationship is honestly the cameo from Benicio, Sergio. I think that's the best sequence in the film.
I wouldn't say it's a cameo. I mean, he's in it a fair bit.
Yeah, but the whole
his character though,
the guerrilla sort of behind the scenes in the sanctuary city, getting Bob out to try and save Willa. I think that is the best, I guess, sort of chapter of the film.
His character's really cool. I mean, there's stuff that we can say. I want to say more about his character later, but yeah,
there's so much about it to unpack. Because another very important thing is why is Colonel Lockjaw doing the things that he's doing, which is that he's trying to join a group called the Christmas Adventurers Club.
The KKK.
Basically a new form of the KKK.
Yeah.
Also super hilarious.
How do they do it?
No, it was just Hale saying
Yeah.
So they're like basically KKK Satanists, just white supremacist
Old
freaks.
men, white old men, yeah.
Their sequences are also super funny.
Yeah.
The stuff they said was
clean.
So outrageous that the theatre, who obviously I'm sure no one agrees with what they're saying, but can still find the humour in it because it's so over the top. And actually, I will say that even though the film is hilarious, and it really is like one of the funniest movies I've seen in a long time, the laugh, I think the biggest laugh that they got was actually from one of those guys at the end.
Oh, yeah.
He says, a semen demon?
Yeah.
Like, the whole theatre was roaring with laughter at that line, which is so dumb, but it was so, like, well delivered in the context of the story. But anyway, basically...
Reverse rape.
I was raped in reverse. She could feel my power. We got to talk about straight. Like Sean Penn is the best character and actor in the film. Like, and it's hard for me because I've not really known that much about Sean Penn, and watched many of his movies. No. But he's already won 2 Academy Awards.
One was for Mystic River.
And I think for Milk, a movie called Milk.
Mystic River's great.
I haven't seen either of them, but. I'm not against him getting another Oscar for this. I mean, his performance is so incredible, so unrecognizable, and he's just steals every scene he's in. And my feed still, because I watch so much film reels and shit. I just get endless Lockjaw quotes. He grabs Will and he goes, "You should put on more makeup to make yourself look better."
Oh, what's it you remember?
You go to a dance, you put on more makeup.
how funny the scene is of when you think he's dead.
Yeah.
And then it
he
cuts to him
walks
like it's
with
got like
the weirdest
burn.
walk.
Power walking.
The weirdest walk ever. He's got this
The whole
shotgun.
theater dude when that happened was like.
And the theater was
boring.
happy. Like, Lockjaw is such an evil, terrible person, yet he's such a hilarious character that when he was revealed to be alive, the whole theater was like, yes! He's still in the movie! You know?
He's like a Terminator RFK type
basically.
character.
Why is your shirt so tight?
Yeah, that's my favorite
not
part.
gay,
if that's what you're asking.
The delivery of that line is
I'm not homosexual.
So.
And then she's like, "What's?" When he's doing the DNA test thing, and she's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Your future."
It's just, like, it's so good. Like, just random things like, I bought a jet ski.
What was the question? Like, do you have any like debts or like something like that?
Have you ever claimed a debt or something? It's like, I once bought a Yamaha jet ski 365.
I have no regrets. I'd do it again.
Yeah, it was defective.
What? And they're like looking at him like, the fuck?
Yeah, no, this guy, that's who we want.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will actually keep talking about the movie, not just saying Lockjaw quotes. But this is also one of Leo's best performances, I think.
Oh yeah.
One thing that is so underrated about Leo is how good of a comedic actor he is. I think that's something that people don't think about, but like Wolf of Wall Street, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, like they're some of my favorite roles of his, and they are based primarily in comedy. And that's what it's like. This film has its intense moments, obviously, and dramatic moments and violent moments, but for me, it's just like a satirical comedy, which is why I laugh when these degenerate conservatives got so like offended about the film. And I'm like, this shit is not that serious. Like, why do you care so much? It's a movie with a character called Lockjaw.
Well, yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
If we're getting into political things, actually, that's something we could discuss now. Because I watched a really good. It was a 2-part like YouTube video thing, and the central the title was Nobody Understands One Battle After Another. Because, for example, you have the people saying it's a fucking, but he still thinks it's a political movie, not insofar as like PTA is like, this is my, I believe that the revolutionaries are good. And he's actually saying like that essentially the movie is like PTA reflecting on like the post-Obama like false hope promises of like these like political figures. And when he first said that, I'm like, dude, that makes no sense.
Right.
And then he starts like kind of giving some evidence for it. And you're like, actually.
So what are the evidence? Like, go on.
So the one that's also probably off the top of my head that's pretty interesting is the only time period thing that we get in the whole movie is the 16 years, and also when she goes to school dance, the music that's playing is like Mo Bamba, and so on. And if you do like just do simple maths, it lines up like in terms of time period that 16 years ago would have been when the French 75 were doing their shit. The French 75 are essentially like the Obama. So they're the ones selling hope. Because I can't remember what the slogan was, but Obama's thing was like...
Well, there was
literally
this
just
classic
hope.
poach, with him
just
doing
hope.
This,
Yeah,
saying hope.
and then he gets into power, and then you have literally like the 2008 financial crisis, and who gets bailed out? The banks. And
then all of the Middle East wars going on.
it's like, come on.
Yeah.
So the whole political institution was like selling this thing of hope, and that's the same thing as like the French 75. They're like, and then like perfidia, if that I can't remember where it comes from, but the word literally means like breach of trust, disloyalty. And so there's way more stuff. The video is going to be like obviously better than I can do it here. I might put it in the description over if I can be bothered. But I thought it was really interesting because like it's clear that the movie is obviously like framed in a political context. So it's not like surprising that so many people are reading it politically. Yeah. But I think
it is hard to separate.
But I think they are all way too shallow, thinking it's like literally it's literal. Like it's not like PTA like isn't literally saying that the right wing are the fucking Christmas adventurers clubs, and he's not literally saying that the revolutionaries are good and they're this.
Yeah.
He's literally just he's not literally, but he's like figuratively reflecting on his like experience and his view of like the political sort of fabric in America.
Yeah.
And I think that's way more interesting.
Well, for one thing, you would hardly say that the French 75 are good guys.
No, yeah.
Like, especially Perfidia is a bad person. And they make that clear, like where Leo goes, hey, you have a family now, we have responsibilities. And she goes, I don't care, I just care about the revolution.
Yeah.
And it's clearly more about her own ego
and
things like that than, what she should do as a moral human being, look after your child.
Yeah.
And also, I think it's heavily implied at the end because that was another thing that I think we watched it. We were going to the coast or something. I pulled up Ben Shapiro's review, which was so bad, like the worst take I've ever heard.
It's kind of a comic.
Maybe for anything, like as bad of a take this is. But he said something like, at the end when Willa, she's like, oh, on the radio there's a protest in Oakland. I'm going to the protest in Oakland, and like right after having read the letter from her mum, which is like, hopefully you can do better than us to change the world. Ben Shapiro basically goes, that's the movie basically saying that she's now also become a revolutionary and that this is the only way to fix the world is just to be this French 75 again. And I'm like, first of all, she's going to a protest.
Yeah.
She's not going to bomb a bank or something. She's going to like, you know...
blow up a bridge.
She's just going to some sort of like, I don't know...
Yeah.
protest, like a pro-Palestine protest or whatever it is you want to say, an equivalent for the real world. And like in the letter as well, Perfidia acknowledges that they didn't do the right thing.
Yeah.
They handled it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, clearly the film's not saying become a revolutionary and blow up banks and do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's also like, because like PTA there is reflecting on like if like Perfidia's character is supposed to represent like that sort of era. Like it's them going, like the institution's going, oh yeah, like what we tried didn't do anything. It's all performative. But yeah, the idea that like Perfidia's character is supposed to be represented as like the hero or some shit that Ben Shapiro was saying is so dumb. The actually interesting thing in terms of that scene and like the first scene of Willow and Bob in the house together, the way they're lit's really interesting. The first time they're in there, it's dark. And then the last scene, like the lights on them, and the perspectives they're shot from is different. I think from the first one is shot from, I feel like it's shot from Bob's perspective. It might be the other way around though. Do you remember the first time that they're talking together? Because it's actually, I think it's probably important. Like the first one is shot from like only one of their perspective.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And
it's more the whole. I think the camera is always grounded from Bob's angle because he's sitting slumped in his chair while she is either sitting up straight or standing up. Afterwards.
Yeah, because she's at the table.
And it always keeps from his perspective.
Yeah, I wish I could remember how those scenes went better.
It actually reminds me. I know. I'm going to say it briefly because we're not talking about it right now. But I just saw the new Knives Out, and it was great in that film because it's the same thing where he used light to frame conversations. Because you'd have someone basically talking against Christianity and clouds would come over the church while they're talking anti-Christianity, and then one of the priests, like the good priest, because there's a dickhead as well, starts talking positively and like what religion should be, then the light would come back into the church, and they did it as a way of framing the perspectives between the 2 points of view.
Yeah.
It's very easy, effective, and subtle way to convey messaging.
So it's a really interesting thing, actually. I mean, this is sort of just a sort of meta point about filmmaking, but like how like small choices that when you're watching it, like you don't notice them. They actually have such a big impact artistically on like how the story's being told. But I mean, One Battle After Another. Again, it's such a huge movie, but in terms of those small choices, like the way they shot that final car chase. That's highways, so awesome.
Where the assassin's going after Willa, and it's just showing the bumps of the road, which from a driver's perspective, which you know that feeling, but you feel like you're on a roller coaster or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, the earth's
such
kind
an
of breathing. It's
just
a lot of the like cinematography in this movie is just outstanding.
The scale in the sort of handover scene from Colonel Lockjaw and Willa to the assassin. That's incredible. It's just a stark desert and 3 people in 2 cars. And
I also think even just using the framing to create like comedy. Like remember when Leo busts into Sensei's room for the first time, and he's trying to look for a gun, and then he realizes that the cops are driving by, so he falls down on the ground and starts sneaking towards the wall while Sensei's just chilling on his desk, like reading, doesn't give a fuck. That was hilarious. And it was just a framing choice to show that is happening simultaneously.
Other people in the family are also just, teenagers on the phone. And
that's another thing, long takes. The movie does long takes so well. Like you do these tracking shots of Leo following Benicio and walking through his house where Benicio's trying to tell him stuff, but then he goes, oh, and this is my cousin. And Leo's just going, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Frantic.
Yeah. And just like, I mean, so much of the comedy is so great because I think it's grounded in realism. Like, the password thing is so funny because everyone's forgotten a password and it's banged their head against the wall going, for fuck's sake, what is this password? And the way Leo reacted, like, where he just starts, like, crying. He's like,
and
please. He's like, please, just tell me the password.
My noise triggers.
Or, like, Leo with the weed where he goes, calm down. Don't panic. Remain calm. What the fuck's going on? I think everyone's had that thing where they've found out something or realized something and they've gone, shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. And like started to think about it.
Or when he's trying to keep up with the skater.
Yeah.
Over the, obviously 20 years ago, 16 years ago, he would have been able to make that jump and he tries and he doesn't even get halfway and he falls and gets arrested, It's...
And speaking of those little details, just a couple of things. One, how when he grabs his survivor bag, it's got that tiny little pink backpack attached to it. Because that would be Willa's when she was a baby, and he's never had to fix it. Such a great detail to show how unprepared he actually is.
Yeah.
And also, in that scene, that initial scene where he gets that phone call saying that Willa has been evacuated, and he's like, you're really high, you need to calm down. And then as he's thinking, he just like puffs again. And it's like, dude, what the fuck?
It's calming, it's soothing.
Yeah.
It is a movie that, for a movie that's so over the top and insane, it's amazing how you can still take it so seriously and also how subtle it is as well. Like whilst it's a crazy story and the characters are so eccentric, it's so subtly made by PTA. I would actually say it's understated filmmaking.
I think that's why so many people are misreading it.
Yeah.
Because
it doesn't spoon feed the story to you.
Yeah, people are either just taking it too literally or they're doing it, like, taking it the wrong way completely, yeah. Back to Sensei, actually. He's actually, I think, such an interesting character because he is, like, the opposite to, like, the revolutionaries because he's sort of this figure in the community who's, like, helping everyone out. Like, he is the guy who's giving housing, he's running his, like, the underground, like, and it's an interesting there's something in the video that I watched that goes to his character as well. I can't remember it, but I think he definitely, if PTA is actually treating this movie as like some sort of reflection on his political experience or whatever, I think that character is someone who's really important in showing like what he thinks is the right way of being a member of your community.
Like a pacifist type. Yeah,
but like someone who's not just like giving you false slogans of like hope and change, and he's someone who's actually in the community making the change. And not giving false promises and so on. Yeah,
it's something as well that I've noticed with movies where once you watch a lot of movies, you realize how infrequent you actually remember characters. And like remember them well, because it's actually very hard in a film that's not based on previous material. Like you make a Star Wars sequel or something, obviously it's based in that world. It's very easy to create a character from Star Wars because it's so thematically rich. But you're just trying to create a character on the page right then and there. It's very hard, especially when it's set in real life. Like there's no superhero or anything else to make a memorable, believable character. And I think that One Battle After Another has such great characters that you do remember, like Lockjaw, Bob, all these things. Sensei, like you remember these characters so well months after having seen it.
Well, particularly in a movie as recent as this set recent, know, because take Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you've got. It's easier to make characters that are older because, for us at least, we don't have an example of what that's like in real life.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like we know people that are these ages.
Yeah.
So it's very impressive.
The character with speaking of characters not being feasible, we've forgotten. I don't actually remember her name, but she's the one who saves
the sister
Willa.
Oh yeah.
Because I think she's also one of the other really important characters.
Deandra.
Because she's like the person she's like similar to Sensei, but obviously not like the same thing.
But she fulfills Sensei's role for Willa.
Yes. She's one of those people. She's one of the people actually affecting change, and she has like. She never she's always there in the story when like the important things happen. She's there when Willa was like a baby and had to move out and then so on and so forth.
Getting Willa from school.
Yeah.
Taking her to the nunnery.
Yeah. And I don't know. As I said, I'm not going to be able to give the video as the justice it deserves, but I think that was a really interesting analysis because all of the discourse that I was seeing was either just like this movie was funny, which it was, and that's true, or like you just had these crazy like just clearly horrible takes about what kind of political movie it was, and you're like.
But I think the reason why this is such a highly rated, highly acclaimed film is just because it's got everything you want. It's got action. It's a good story.
Well, it's a blockbuster.
Funny. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's thematic. It's got so much depth. You can read it however way you want. Like if you want to read it as some sort of political allegory, go for gold. I mean, I don't agree that's what it is, but if you want to do it, fine, no problem. And it's just well written with great characters and everything else. And
it's a traditionally great movie.
It's just a great movie. There's like nothing else about it really to be said. It's like it's like Shawshank Redemption. I'm not saying it's as good as Shawshank Redemption, but it's just as a comparison. Shawshank Redemption is just a story about some dudes in prison, but it's such a well written story with great characters. That's why it's so great. It's not like, I don't know what a good example is. Something different, like. The Empire Strikes Back, where the characters are great and it is a great story, but there's other elements to it that make it great.
Yeah.
Where like the world of it, like in the science fictionistness of it,
and the how ahead of its time it was, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's also just by a guy that time after time again keeps making.
Well, Pete. Yeah, I mean,
so, at the top of anybody's game.
It's very hard for me like to pick a favorite director. But PTA would be up there. I mean, almost every one of his films I've loved. I thought Hard 8 was kind of meh,
but still not bad. If any other person had made that, you'd be like, yeah, that's.
But it was fine. It was just like a normal fine movie. But everything else, like Boogie Nights, is so amazing. Magnolia is amazing.
We all just watched The Master together.
The Master is unbelievably great. There Will Be Blood is great. Phantom Thread is great. Licorice Pizza is fantastic. Inherent Vice was pretty good. It's definitely a step under those, but it's pretty good.
Well, I think the
Punch Drunk Love is great.
Punch Drunk Love is excellent. The thing with Hard 8 as well is that's like the second to last PTA movie we saw out of all of them. Yeah. So you've got these skyscraper expectations, and then you're hit with a fucking apartment building, or a townhouse.
Yeah. See, I actually think
it's better than renting.
I think a good comparison for this movie in terms of why I think it's so highly rated. Comparatively is I think a good comparison would be Eddington, comparing this film to Eddington. There's parts of Eddington that I think, and the way it's structured and the length is almost the same, blah, blah, blah. But I think Eddington was a really good movie.
Eddington's far more absurd.
It's absurd. The characters I don't think definitely are not as well realised. I mean, universally. Like Joaquin's character is very good, but the other characters, you don't really remember
Pedro,
them.
Halfway through.
That's how you remember it. Like you go, oh, Pedro was in it. You don't go Lockjaw or Willa and stuff. Like you don't actually remember these characters. It's not as so fully well realized. And also that's the other thing. This is one of the most important points that we haven't brought up. This movie is almost 3 hours and it moves like a fucking bullet train. Yeah. It is so fast.
The pacing is ridiculous.
What's it called? The Shenzhen? The trains in Japan?
Oh, I don't remember that, but bullet trains in Japan.
Yeah.
I remember we finished it the second time we stood up and I said to Isaac, that whole bit at the start before it does the 16-year time jump is 40 minutes.
Holy shit.
It's 40 minutes. And it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, they start trying to fuck while they're blowing shit up. So it's clearly enough time,
Yeah.
I was actually going to make the joke that, the protest Will is off to is actually the Eddington Black Lives Matter.
That wasn't me, by the way. That wasn't me throwing shade at Eddington. I thought Eddington was great. But I just think this is just another level, like another step.
I was going to make that joke that she was on the way to that,
Yeah.
Like similar time periods,
But I think, as well, like to compare to Eddington was also... It was political, but again, I didn't watch it thinking this is a political movie. Like, I was watching it more as a, like, neo-Western. And just the fact that it was set during COVID and there's political elements to it is just for the world to be realistic. Slight jump there, guys. Sorry about that. I was saying that I don't think that Eddington is as effectively subtle in embedding its themes into the story.
Yeah.
And I think you're more likely to watch one battle after another and just enjoy it as a story without walking out of the theatre starting to have a politically based conversation. Anyway.
Whereas Eddington, it was very, hard not...
It was hard not to...
Was that not our conversation?
It definitely was.
Yeah. But I mean, in fairness, so much of Eddington's like comedy was based in recalling the nonsense of COVID.
Yeah. Which we all experienced.
And but it was very smart in the way where they would do a Western standoff, but it was because they had to be 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
But it just framed it like it was a classic cowboy standoff, but it's like, hey, social distancing. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Also, there was that kid
with the girl.
Yeah. The grifter.
Yeah, that's right. And then
that guy's funny.
And what was the book you read?
Oh, it was an Angela Davis book.
And then his parents' reaction. I'm not going to repeat what they said, but the parents. Do you remember when he said, about whiteness?
You're a fucking.
I'm not going to bring it up, but it said something kind of NPC. No, anything else on Battle?
Oh, there's plenty, but I don't know. I can't think of anything to say. There's almost infinite things to say.
Yeah.
Which then makes you say nothing.
Yeah.
It's too much effort to.
I think it would.
Okay. Is there negatives? I guess that's something you could ask.
No.
I personally don't think so. I have nothing negative to say about it. Especially because it does help that we've watched the second time. I think the second time watch is so crucial.
Yeah.
Because you can reveal the problems after a second time.
Mm-hmm.
So
if you have any. Of course.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how I'd rate the new Knives Out, and so I'm going to watch it again before I rate it because I'm about a couple of things. And if I don't have those issues the second time, then it's higher rated. But One Battle After Another, I watched it the second time, felt exactly the same. I would say it was slightly less funny because obviously I knew the jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and there wasn't a crowd.
But the jokes were still funny.
Yeah.
And I still laughed, but I didn't laugh as hard because I knew some of them were coming. Whereas the first time I watched it, I was wetting myself. I thought it was hilarious.
I think the difference for me the second time was purely just environmental. The whole experience wasn't as good. And I definitely do think seeing a movie in a packed out cinema with a special, 70mm, etc., does elevate the experience.
It does.
But the second screening doesn't detract from, how I overall evaluate the film.
But that is something as well, I just want to point that out as more of a separate point. It's just, I'm starting to appreciate how, because we have this conversation, movies with crowds, you don't like the crowds.
The best thing in the world.
Crowds are the best.
I think it's the best thing ever.
So I with Knives Out, I purposely found a theatre that was almost sold out. And I went to that one. So that when we watched it and the crowd was laughing their asses off and going, whoa, at things, it made it so much better.
It makes it
so much better.
I think you're right for comedic movies, it's definitely better. But
also horror movies with a crowd.
But you haven't really watched many horror movies.
So much fun.
I don't think I have.
Because you realise how good your threshold for horror is, or just how bad the general public's is. Because I remember I went and saw one of those dog shit Annabelle movies, sold out. Theater was screaming. I'm like, this movie's arse. What do you mean you're scared? It was like a doll just doing this. And oh my god! I'm like, I
genuinely might think the last horror movie I saw in cinema,
Bring Her Back.
Well, aside from
that wasn't scary. That was just fun.
No, but that one I couldn't watch, bro. But it was cringe-inducing. It wasn't scary. Yeah.
Sorry, the last time I remember, big reactions from a horror movie in a cinema was the Conjuring you, Lockie and I saw.
Oh,
with maybe Christian and Josh as well.
Conjuring 3.
Yeah, but you're laughing. It's that bad. You're laughing. It's not scary.
Yeah.
And I still think
I did see Weapons with a fairly big crowd, and Weapons isn't that scary, but it has some funny moments, and it was great to be with the crowd. They were super into it. That's just when the crowd is with you and you're all so into the movie, it's just so much fun. I mean, it's
if the whole crowd's against the movie, it's also fun.
Yeah, also super.
There was my Rise of Skywalker premiere screening.
Oh, dude! Oh my god!
What the fuck?
Dude, that's why I was mad because when I saw Last Jedi, it was almost empty.
Oh yeah.
Because I saw it at 10 o'clock in the morning whenever it came out, and so when I watched it, it was almost dead. And so I was there with my mate at the time, and we're going, "Wow!" But it's dead. So there's nothing else going on. I'm like, what the fuck?
I saw a Friday night, 2 days after it came out, screening with my mate, and it was so fucking loud in El Dorado that he passed out. It was me. We were grade 8, right? So 14. Me, him, his mum, and it's the Salt Planet scene, right? Yeah. And I looked to my left, and he's like this, and his mum is touching him. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I go outside after the movie, and he's got 3 bottles of water, and he's lying on the floor. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god.
Passing out Last Jedi.
I mean, we may not do it right now, but I was thinking as I was coming here, like, what are my all-time favorite theater experiences seeing things? Because there's a
tier list.
Well, because there's a combination of the quality of the movie that you saw, and also the experience of watching it. So, like, I think one of the all-time greatest was when we saw No Way Home at midnight.
Yeah.
Even though that's not like the greatest movie ever made, but the crowd was so into it.
Yeah, the super freak crowd.
There were people in costumes and shit. Like, they were so into it, and it was so much fun. Whereas, like, one of my favorite things that we did was, I think, Solaris. Mm-hmm. Just because that experience of watching Solaris in the cinema was so awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Because that was my first time seeing Solaris.
It was like, same. Mystifying, sort of,
All of the Tarkovsky screenings we've been to would be up there for
me.
I
think Stalker was excellent because you're just entranced by this movie and it's so incredible and you're brought out of it because some fuckwit to your right is leaving.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious?
But the experience of seeing the Tarkovsky thing is just unbelievable. But it's not, like, the crowds were never, like, going nuts.
No.
This discussion is also, though, why, like, the more I've thought about, like, the ability to say something's your favorite movie is almost impossible because there's no, like, set of criteria that you can give, which is not going to, like, be completely incompatible. Because by favorite movie, do you mean, like, I'm going to watch that every day?
Yeah.
Like Paris, Texas, I'm never going to just watch that every single day. Whereas there's some movies where I'm way more likely to do that. You know what I mean?
By that
a lot easier watching.
By that criteria, my favorite movie would be the Batman or Anchorman.
But then there's like movies where it's like
stuff like that.
And then there's stuff where it's like that means the most to me. But then you're like, I can't call that my favorite movie because it's not the best movie or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I'm pretty sure we're all in agreement that objectively greatest movie ever is 2001.
Yes, but it's not.
That's the objective answer.
Yeah.
But, like, and that's another thing I was going to say when we saw Dark Knight in 35 mil. So amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I was there.
I don't think you were, but the crowd...
You, Ollie, and I, and someone.
Yeah, the crowd was solid. Like, but there wasn't that because everyone had seen it. You just knew everyone had seen it. So everyone's sitting there and they're just enjoying the movie. But at the end, when it ended, and he goes, "A silent guardian, a dark night," and then it cuts to black. Everyone just round of applause, like so loud. I was like, "Yes." Brisbane gets it,
But that's why I think for instance, you look at our Letterboxd top fours or our favorite films lists, etc., and I think we managed to blend that quite well.
Yeah.
And that's just where subjectively for everybody, there's just weights attributed to each of those factors.
I think it's also a bit of like, part of it is also just like an identity thing where you're like, I want to
people
think of myself
me as this way,
or even just to yourself, like when you're like, I want to think of myself as this being my favorite movie. What does it say about me? Speaking of favorite theater experiences, one of my favorite theater experiences was watching The Room.
Oh yeah,
because I had
a terrible experience watching The Room.
I had no idea it was going to be like that interactive.
Yeah.
So for me, it was so funny. I was there like,
yeah.
I thought you were going to say Clifford the Big Red Dog.
No, that was probably the worst. That's up there as one of the worst.
Oh no, the worst was that. What was that bullshit? Under the Silver Globe.
No, but that was painfully.
That was the worst theory. I had never been in so much pain.
No, but I enjoyed.
I hated it so much.
But
we hyped it up too much.
The problem is though, the first at least 10 minutes of that though is good.
A really good one was Tetsu. Because that was such a crazy movie. That was so crazy.
I'm going to go to Japan expecting Japanese men to be like that,
Yeah.
Dude, that was in my head.
Trust, when you go into there's this building, and it's huge. It's like a skyscraper. You go in there, and there's like 5 floors of, what's the porn? The manga porn? Hentai.
Oh, okay.
So, like, physical copies of hentai. And I remember I went into like one of the aisles, and you've just got like these in business suits, like lawyer Japanese men just...
Yeah.
Like, and no
judgment.
No one's judging. And like, I'm seeing the front cover, like this girl with the biggest boobs I've ever seen. Like, and I don't know what was coming out of her, but I was looking at it.
Did you find the tentacle section?
I was like, dude, there's a lot of that. And there's just like a lot of, like, with wolf faces and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And they're all just standing there.
Yeah.
And I love the culture, the Japanese culture, because everyone's so polite and respectful that you don't get in anyone's face and no one judges whatever you're doing as long as you're quiet and you just, you're not taking up room. So everyone just gets their book and they stand there and then they decide to buy it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What are you doing? And then like my mum found me because I was like standing there in the hentai bookshop just like watching like James Stewart. I was just like, what the fuck's going on? And then she's like, what are you doing? Like, get out.
You're like, look at all these weirdos. And I'm like,
you're watching the weirdos. Like, anyway.
all right, I guess that
I digress. One battle after another.
ratings.
Excellent. Nick, kick us off.
I think it's hard not to give it a 10. I think it's got to be a 10.
Yeah, I think it's easily a 10. As I said, nothing bad to say.
Yeah, I think it's a 10. It's one of those all-time greats.
Make it 3.
Perfect.
Easy peasy.
Great.
Awesome.
That's rare. What was the other one that was June Part 2? I think that's the only other one where it was
I
Universal.
think there's one more.
No, not Universal. Poor Things was close. I think you and I both gave it a 10 and Mark gave it a 9.
Paper Moon 558.
No, 9.
9. There's some others that are definitely...
Paper Moon's one of those, again, like I was just shaky on it, so I got to see it again. And if I see it again and it's as good the second time, it'd be a 10.
Paper Moon was fucking excellent. I love Paper Moon.
I feel like I've been giving so many 10s now because like I've just sort of... I used to always be like, nah, 10s, you got to reserve them for like...
Yeah.
But
But then you'd give the most like outlandish, weird shit at 10.
I just
Where
think
does that come from?
I just think you got to give something a 10 that you're like, that's a 10.
Yeah, that's a
I
fucking
think
vibe.
to have like a rating system that's like super strict is just like, get a life, man.
Yeah. Get over yourself.
Movies aren't that deep, bro.
Nah. That's right. Anyway, we got to move on.
Yeah, okay. So the next movie, and more recent, but still quite...
Well, it's still in theaters.
Yeah,
That's a good metric.
exactly.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it still
Yeah,
is.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, it is.
is Yorgos Lanthimos' Bugonia, starring particularly Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone. Plemons plays Teddy, a sort of, I guess you could use the word slightly crazed, conspiracy theorist, young, early 30s, late 20s, sort of man, and his autistic cousin, Donnie.
I was going to say Billy. It was...
Don, who looks like Charlie Kirk. Not Charlie Kirk,
No,
JD
oh
Vance.
Oh my god, I was like, bro, no, don't make Charlie Kirk,
Kirk,
don't do it.
He looks like JD Vance. And obviously Emma Stone plays Michelle, a very, sort of empowered female CEO in the, what is it? It's the pharmaceuticals industry.
What's the name of the company again? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
It's not that important.
Yeah.
Actually, it probably is important. It's probably means
It's like
something.
Pfizer. It's like,
Yeah.
type
Equivalent,
shit.
yeah.
So,
And anyway, basically, the plot is the two cousins think that Emma Stone, the pharmaceutical CEO, is a fucking alien sent down from which
Andromeda.
the Andromeda galaxy to destroy Earth.
yep.
And so basically, it's this whole sort of thriller intrigue of them capturing her and interrogating her, and us trying to figure out, because there's hints dropped along the way. Are they right?
Yeah.
Did you throughout the movie like think that she might be an alien?
I did.
See, I might be the
Because I
only
was
one.
talking to Isaac. I
watched
too.
the whole
did.
movie and I'm like, she's not an alien.
Because I thought it would be so ridiculous if we got to the end of the movie and it was
she
like,
was a
no, they
human.
were just dummies and they like get killed or something.
Yeah.
But I was going, sure. I was thinking, I wasn't necessarily thinking that she was exactly what he said. But I was like, I guarantee you she's like
There's something
involved in something. Like maybe she knows an alien or like there's something. Something's got to happen.
Well, I think
Especially once he started revealing like very specific details. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's not schizophrenia. That's like, dude's done some stuff. That's too intricate thing.
But see, the reason I was totally on board with it, that's just him, because I've gotten deep into like looking into people's like crazy schizophrenia theories, and they are that detailed, bro.
Really?
It's insane, bro. Like they come up with like insane connections. Like they do a lot of research, and this was the thing I was actually saying to Marlon after the movie, is a lot of people like just assume that these guys are like unable to think and they're really stupid.
Yeah.
But a lot of them are like quite like good critical thinkers.
Misguided
It's just
critical
that they're
thinking.
getting bad information
Yeah.
and like they also have insane
Can I say
biases.
that Nietzsche could have been schizo? He also slept with a horse. That's not documented on the podcast.
Isaac,
I think we've had that
multiple times. Isaac and I, after the movie, were talking about whether we thought Emma was an alien or not throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And I realize now, Isaac, that I think more so than me thinking she was an alien, I was just banking on Yorgos making
A weird thing.
out of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is actually what I think. I came to the conclusion, and thus naturally I thought she had to have been an alien.
I kind of forgot like that he did that until the end of the movie when she's an alien and she's like in the freaking ship and it's all Yogosy.
Yeah.
Because like I was watching the movie and I was just kind of like in with the movie and trying to like, you know, figure out what it was trying to say. And this is why I said to Marlon as well after the movie, it didn't make sense to me to reveal that she was an alien, because my reading of the film at the time made that seem like a contradiction of its point. Because to me, the point originally of the movie was like, you know, well, I'd say it probably still is this, but I would have to adapt it slightly. But essentially, like, you know, you have the elites, whatever that means, but just people in positions of power and so on, who, you know, put like the working class person in situations of, you know, trauma and oppression and et cetera, et cetera. And these people, you know, want to feel like their life means something, like the pain, you know, wasn't for nothing. And they also want to, like, you know, figure out like who's in control and so on. And so they redirect all their trauma to the wrong, like, they give the cause to the wrong thing, and they attribute it to like the cabal behind the government, the deep state, you know, when the deep state is literally just the bureaucracy. It's not like some evil. And so when the end of the movie, it's like he was actually right, and she is an alien. It seems to confirm this way of thinking about the world, which to me, it's like it's not. Didn't see what the movie was.
Again, to that I would go, it's not that deep.
You don't think so?
I think there's merit to that, but I think Yorgos likes to portray that and then also go, fuck it.
No, but
I
think you can obviously take it seriously and make inferences like that. But similarly to One Battle After Another, I mean, this is a movie where it ends with she's an alien in this ridiculous spaceship that I wasn't taking seriously at all, with goofy ass long hair, and they all look weird and it all looks fake, and then she
Like
pops
Jack Black in The
she just
Mandalorian.
pops the Earth's atmosphere and everyone dies, and you just see them all lying there dead in various comedic positions, and I'm like, look, you can sit there and be like, this is actually like an analysis of the working bureaucracy and the. I'm like, bro, this is just a.
Honestly, I think
this is a goofy movie.
But I think even that goofiness is on purpose. Because my original reading of the film is like kind of one directional from, like, purely critiquing like his way of thinking or whatever. But if you think of it as like also pointing out how silly the people in power are, like they view themselves as like heroes and look at all this great stuff we're doing. I mean, like Elon Musk is a great example, right? He's going to take us to Mars and, you know, whatever. But then by the end of the movie, portraying them as aliens, you might say, is either to show how like far they are from normal humans now, or I don't know, like how out of touch they are, or I don't know, maybe it's just, I don't know. But the thing of like making them so silly, and like I think also goes to show how silly their worldviews are. And like they have so many, the Andromedans have so many silly things where they're like, you know, we're trying to make the world better, and then they're like, she's clearly, her company is killing the bees, you know, and stuff like that.
Well,
like
there's a metaphor with the bees throughout the whole.
Because
he keeps them. Which is actually, there's one of the better scenes is when the cop who you tell me is a comedian.
Stavros. Do you know? Yeah. I was so happy when I saw him, dude. I'm like, oh!
I had no fucking clue who it was. And I was like, yeah, just another fat cop. You know, makes sense.
He does so good. He's actually so good in the role.
Makes sense. He's a fucking pedophile.
Well, that's actually another. Sorry to interrupt you. What point you're making? Please remember it. But that goes back to what my like thesis though, because he's an authority figure who takes control,
power.
And he's an idiot. He's totally silly, and I think that's on purpose. Anyway, it's also funny, but
I was just leading up to, you know, one of the crazier, more sort of euphoric scenes in the film is when Clement's character kills Stavros the cop with the bees at the beehive. I thought that was just fucking.
Kills him with a shovel, right?
Yeah, it was just a gory, intense, and
looks at him.
The music, I think it was a classical score at that point.
Yeah,
was insane. It was. You know, I got a text from my dad because he went and saw it just one Sunday when he had a bit of free time because he thought it was, you know, he knew he was going to love it. I told him he was going to love it. Yeah. And he sent me a text going, that bee scene, the bee scene.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure exactly what, you know, the metaphor of the bees means other than that enslavement and sort of.
See again, like I just when I watched it, I thought it was very, very Kinds of Kindness-esque, and I know that you can, like with some of his other films, like The Lobster, for example, is definitely one when you're thinking about like relationship analysis and how humans develop love and relationships and what that all whittles down to. But I think at their heart, these are just absurdist black comedies, and I can respect that you might want to pull stuff out of it, but for me, I think that's not really why I like Yorgos and what I take from him. I think part of the reason why the comedy and the how dark it is and remains funny and interesting is because it is set in some sort of grounded realism, where it's commentary or metaphors one can draw from. But fundamentally, I think it is more of just a comedy.
Yeah, well,
escapist type film.
Well, when I watched it, I had no other thoughts other than the fact that this was excellent, great viewing.
Yeah.
Fucking loved it. But now that Isaac brings this point, I can see it, and I only like it more for that.
Sure.
For the ability to watch it in a screening and just on surface level, excellent filmmaking, insane acting, great writing. Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons are at the top of their game. Plemons always plays.
He's amazing in this movie.
He's playing his best character archetype to a T.
Was it just his first main?
Yeah,
where he's the main guy
in a big film.
I mean, he was fairly prominent, and I don't think either of you ever saw that film, Power of the Dog.
No, I've seen Power of the Dog.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, true, he's big in that. Yeah,
that was a phenomenal movie. But
well, he's always playing like the sort of secondary insane guy in The Master and Breaking Bad.
Sure. Yeah.
Civil War.
He was very.
Not Civil War.
Found
sorry.
a lot of
Civil War.
Yeah, he had a brief role in Civil War.
Yeah.
I found a lot of similarities to his character in Breaking Bad, to his character in Bugonia.
Absolutely. But the thing about this is it's with a lot more maturity. It's because he's taking that center stage. He's given a lot more time to create a well-rounded character that.
Well, he's the main character.
Exactly.
Sure.
That isn't just one-toned.
Yeah.
Like some of those other characters.
Yeah.
And Emma Stone is,
Well, her and Yorgos are seriously such a dream team.
Actor auteur partnership at the.
I would say her and Yorgos are just as good as like Willem Dafoe and Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
Just in terms of like this duo of fucking, they're going to be good in it.
And it's complete trust, right? I think she came out and said that.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Which you can see. I mean, she when you look at the films that she's done with him, she has done some weird shit.
Yeah.
Some really out there stuff. Like Bugonia is out there as hell.
Yeah.
Shaved her head for it, gets covered in all this cream stuff.
Yeah,
Alien.
the hair was it hair?
And I mean, a lot of these very intense,
communicate, whatever.
very intense thing with the suicide scene,
which
was
Don.
very
Horrible.
very gory and intense, and like the kitchen table argument scene where Jesse jumps over the table and grabs her, throws her to the floor. That was such a violent...
And choking her, right?
Yeah. Very intense moment.
And then on top of that, the electrocution scene.
Oh my God, yes! I forgot about that.
Is so intense and horrifying, and Don, the autistic cousin, is freaking out and, horrified.
God.
And then...
That's right.
And then Teddy just goes... Your Majesty, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we were speaking to the Queen Bee, essentially. Yeah. Just completely disregarding the horror he's just subjected her to, but just straight into like one of the funniest lines in the film. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, why did Donnie kill himself again? Like, I know she's saying like you can come with me, but why does he end up? What's the chain of like?
Well, I think ultimately how I took it is that he was starting to become disenfranchised with Teddy.
Yeah.
I don't think he was believing what Teddy was saying. At the same time, he definitely didn't trust, and possibly even feared that her being an alien was true.
Yeah.
He said A, didn't trust her. B, if she was an alien and going on a ship, I don't think that appealed to him. I think the whole idea of getting involved in this situation really disturbed him.
And then because everything he did was forced. He didn't want to.
But wasn't he?
He didn't even want to kidnap her.
I thought his only thing was he just wanted to go to space or something. He wanted to get away from.
He wanted to get away from the house, the place, but also when they sterilize themselves, what's that called?
I think they progesterone is what they inject.
Yeah, they took a...
He didn't. That was entirely forced. But I think it was also, he didn't want to be with Teddy anymore, but also didn't want to be without Teddy anymore. Like that was the sort of struggle internally, and you got to think this. He was not very sort of critical of or had any part in this at all. He was just along for the ride based on proximity and it's the only person he has ever known, right?
And obviously, like the fact that he's disabled.
Yeah.
I think,
impairs his judgment.
It perhaps removes, like, if he wasn't disabled, perhaps he wouldn't have made that decision. But he perhaps sees things in obviously not as rational or calculated sort of way.
And then we haven't even mentioned, that there's this whole subplot is that there's a personal gripe as well.
Yeah,
between Teddy's mum and Emma Stone's character, because there's the you're an alien, but you're the alien who, acting as a human, has fucked my mum's life up forever.
But that's why I read until obviously but I read that as he's misplaced his concerns from the actual material cause, which is her company and her decision making. And he says, it's the aliens, It's like, that's ridiculous. And then, of course...
But I think that inclusion of that subplot is the perfect way to keep you
guessing
on an edge of what's actually real.
Sure,
because right before he goes to visit his mum and does that, he kills her, which was I really died. I was like, fuck.
And great acting from Emma Stone.
Yeah, but before that, that's when she gave her most detailed... possibly lie, we know it's the truth, but possibly lie at the time, thing about being an alien, where she starts espousing all of this information to him. And that was at the moment where I was the most confused. Because I was like, she's discovered all this stuff, and now she's telling him very specific things. I'm like, maybe she's an alien. But then you go straight into the mum plot, where you go, because when he's cycling there, you're like, he's so deranged. He's so out of it. Like, there's no way this guy has actually figured this out. He's insane.
Yeah. Well, that's what I totally... literally, the whole way through, until she gets out of the ambulance, I was not buying that she was an alien. The whole way through, I thought, and I don't know. I find it interesting that you guys obviously had a different experience with, the cues you were picking up on. Because every cue where it was like, well, maybe she's an alien, I was reading it as, it's through his eyes. Right. And I don't regard him as reliable.
Well, I went into it assuming that would be the twist. Is that she's
okay? Yeah.
That was just my assumption.
I knew nothing.
Don't get me wrong. There were times where I wasn't definitive on that.
Yeah.
Especially in that moment where I was just saying.
Yeah.
I was sitting there going.
But you were having the flip.
Because as you said, I couldn't trust either of them. I was like, what the hell's going on? And I actually wasn't convinced. Even when she jumped out of the ambulance, I thought she could have been doing something else. It was until they cut. And it was the spaceship. I went, oh, okay, I was right. She was an
alien. And, that's what I think for me made it such a great experience, was the constant struggle between is she, isn't she, and ultimately, rooting for either way, but just being along for the ride and having a great time.
The other great thing is the use of the black and white scenes with the mom floating. As the shadow. She carries her weight around.
Very Mirror. That scene in Mirror where that happens.
Yeah.
So good.
But the tension that Yorgos sort of imparts into that sort of into your thinking of whether she's an alien or not is great. And I think even if you don't think so from the get-go, or you completely agree the whole time, it's still so intense and such a psychological thriller that has two insane characters, because Emma for half of it is pleading in the most humane way possible with the most
using business speak.
Eventually, yeah, it's like fucking...
Let's have a dialogue.
Yeah, what is it? What's the phrase they use now? It's for just insert fancy word, or what's that word?
Buzzword.
Yeah, buzzword. To this guy that's never been out of, the house, the confines of his house. He also works for Emma.
Yeah, he works
way down the supply chain.
I will say. just as more of a separate point, a broader point, that I was somewhat nervous going into the film because Yorgos and her have obviously made back-to-back-to-back films. They did Poor Things in 23, Kindness, and then this. And going into it and watching it and enjoying it as much as I did, I thought it was great. It just made me realize that, seriously, not only are they such a great pair, but just Yorgos is one of my favorite directors. And his movies always give you such a unique experience. And I would liken him to Robert Eggers in the same way where he's kind of got this style down pat, and you're always going to have a good time because he's such a master of his style. And because, we've now covered 3 Yorgos movies on this podcast. And all,
that's because he's making so many.
I know, but all new releases. Like, we've not even done
any of the old ones because
I know we've all seen them, so we can't really pick them because we try to go for new things. But we could very easily be like, let's watch The Lobster, let's watch The Favourite, blah, blah, blah. But he really is one of those new directors that's just so phenomenal. He's been so consistent. And like Robert Eggers, with whenever he's got a film come out, you're just like,
I think the great thing about both of those directors, but particularly Yorgos, is how consistent sort of all the techniques and the styles and the, not necessarily themes, but the overall experience of the movies are, whilst having the most insanely different plots and stories. Whereas Eggers, I guess, always has that sort of time period driving his plots. Yorgos's are just so much more, I guess, unique and original in that sense. Which is a testament to how great a writer and a director he is.
It would be harder, I think, to go to the cinema and do a Yorgos marathon, because I think all of his movies are their own singular experience, and you'd kind of watch Poor Things, for example, and then to say jump straight into Bugonia, you'd be kind of like, dude, I don't know if I can do Bugonia.
Give me a
right
fucking
now.
Breath.
Whereas like if you went to the cinema and they're like, we're going to watch The Witch and then we're going to watch The Northman, I'd be like, game on, let's go, let's watch them both, because they're just stylistically more similar.
Exactly.
And the tone and the way the stories progress are pretty similar.
And what's Eggers' next one? It's about
the werewolf.
Yeah.
Have you seen the set pictures?
No, but
I'll show it to you.
That is going to be...
Dude, it looks so crazy. Dude, you know the dude, what's his name? Ralph Ineson? He plays the dad in The Witch.
Yes.
Him and Defoe are the werewolf hunters. Oh my God, yes.
The Defoe.
And Lily Rose Depp, has half her lip missing or something.
Yeah.
She looks gross. And Aaron Taylor Johnson's the werewolf. I'm like... And I think he said that it's the darkest, goriest thing he's written. I'm like, bro, fucking sign me up. That's coming out.
It's a werewolf, so.
Bro, you know what's coming? That's coming out December next year.
Oh, that's cool.
Same time as June Part 3. Oh. December next year is going to be so.
And the Batman's been pushed to 2027.
GTA 6.
2027.
Never.
I think that's supposed to be. It's been delayed to come out around that time, I think.
Batman's going to start filming in March. That is the day that comes out. I'm gonna I might cry.
Well, I remember making that TikTok of I can't remember what, but it was essentially just fucking pleading for June Part 3 and the Batman 2, and there was one other movie in it, and it got 0 views, but naturally, but
The Odyssey, maybe. Well, no, maybe it wasn't.
No, it was something else. But it's such a shame when you've got the first movie or a director that's making these great films, and you just have to wait. But it makes it all the better at the end of the day. Because, for instance, Nosferatu, when we saw that all together, that was New Year's Day, perhaps?
It was New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And the hype around it was just crazy. And when June 3 comes out, we're going midnight. I don't care how much we have to pay. We're seeing it as early as possible, sold out crowd, we're seeing it.
It's like a comparison between being a very, very, very occasional marijuana smoker or being a daily crack addict. Eventually one's better for you in the long run.
Sure, yeah. And what's it... when Odyssey comes, because they'll do the 70mm screenings, because the whole thing, the entire movie was shot in 70mm IMAX.
Isn't he doing a early screening of the opening battle?
I think if you watch Avatar, you get to see the first 5 minutes.
I think if you're watching it on the Avatar on film or some shit.
Yeah, if you watch Avatar, you get the first 5 or 10 minutes of the Odyssey.
Yeah,
I guess we have to go see Avatar.
Yeah,
is that 3? Did we miss 2?
No, we watched 2.
No, we watched
it was
2.
Shape
Two's
of
Way
Water.
of- Way of
Shape of
Water.
Water.
Is it Shape? No, it's Way of Water.
Way
Shape
of
of Water is the.
That's Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah.
Way of Water.
Fuck
Way of Water. And then
Um,
there's this Fire and Ash.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's another one coming out the year after. Like James Cameron's making.
There's like a
these.
million of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all.
Oh,
And
no,
just the same movie.
They
every
haven't.
time.
Yeah.
They haven't shot 4 and 5, but it's written. But he said that 3 has to do almost as well as 2 to justify them making 4
Right.
and 5.
I remember.
100%. It's going to be the same movie, dude.
No, but
Visually-
it's not going to make. It is not going
Yeah,
to make the money
no.
because 2 made like 2 billion. I don't even know if this will make 8 billion.
Visually,
Because no one gives
2
a
was
fuck anymore.
visually 2 was beautiful, but
Well,
was.
do people just care about 2 because it was like Avatar's back?
yeah,
Exactly,
And
but
now it's
but
like
the
it's
wait,
been
but the
done.
wait was like 15 years.
Yeah.
But this is Avatar 2 was what 3 years
2022,
ago?
yeah.
3 years ago. Like,
And
no one
what's
gives a
the
shit.
hype? Because like the whole like the reason the first Avatar was sick because
Technology, advanced
technology, and then the
technology,
second
yeah.
one's like wow, look how much better this one is. Avatar 3 is going to be like the same.
It's gonna be the same. Yeah, they haven't improved the technology.
Except
they
now,
shot them
but the
simultaneously.
difference will be instead of it being water graphics they're animating, they're going to
Fire.
be really good at fire graphics. Now.
Yeah.
And fire isn't even as cool as water
No,
in terms of the graphics.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like-
We've been able to do fire
What
for
makes you
ages.
feel better, you know? It's
Yeah.
like.
but also
take me there.
but shooting fire is just light a fire and have the dude stand next to it. Whereas the water shit, they had to film it in pools,
Yeah.
and it's much more
But
complicated.
then the way they had to like animate the water and
Yeah.
shit is crazy.
It's complicated.
Fire. Did you
Yeah.
see that fucking explosion in Sydney?
No,
Either of you?
No, haven't seen it.
crazy transition.
Insane.
Oh, actually, I think I-
insane explosion in a factory in Sydney like 3 days ago.
Well, there was that fucking explosion in Hong Kong that killed 130 people.
that was an apartment fire.
yeah,
yeah.
killed 130
It
people.
was like 7 different apartments on fire in Hong Kong.
Jesus fucking Christ. Well, is that because they're so tight?
Yeah, it's like one of the most
Dude,
densely
Hong
populated.
Kong is so tight and cooked. I remember,
been there?
Yes, that was
On the way to
first-
America, or?
No, that was my first holiday ever overseas.
Do they just like not have
I went to
zoning
Hong Kong.
regulations
This is
or?
Sydney like 4 days ago.
Oh shit!
In a factory.
What is that?
St. Mary's.
What was the fuel for that fire?
Oh, you see, now you're pressuring me, Isaac. And it's just an industrial fire.
The hell, man, that's crazy.
I went to
Every-
Hong Kong for 2 weeks, and that was the first time I'd ever been out of the country. So, and like I had barely been to Sydney and shit.
Yeah.
And I thought Sydney was like a big and densely populated city. And then I went to Hong Kong, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, so insane. It's such a, like, the opposite of what I would want to live in a city. Like, no disrespect to Hong Kong. It's for my personal preferences. But, like, there's a Starbucks in every corner.
Yeah.
The air smelled so bad. Like, because I was in, like, this food district where, I think I've told you this, where I walked out, and not only do they have just, like, baskets of live seafood, like, the health code violations would be through the roof, but they had, like, severed goose heads, like, with the hook through the neck, they're all
Yeah.
hanging in the window. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? I was, like, 10 as well. I was like, this is cooked. Like, this is crazy. But then we took a train ride and saw a giant Buddha, and so it was all okay.
Yeah.
It was all
It
cool.
just said a chemical.
Yeah, it's
You know.
what it makes sense.
It's like
the
the
Beirut.
explosion in Beirut.
Yeah.
Which was way.
That was
Oh, the
fucking-
Beirut
That was like a
was
that was like a
insane.
nuclear bomb.
Yeah, because
Well, it
did you
wasn't
see
that
the video of the guy
bad.
on his apartment filming it, and then he flew through his windscreen?
Yeah.
There's like a million videos, man.
It's crazy.
That is one of the most insane pieces of footage in our lifetime. That Beirut explosion.
Actually, yeah. No, we'll get to that
Anyway.
stuff after the podcast. But
Bugonia.
the one other
back
thing
to
I
it.
guess to say, like the ending, the very ending of like all the dead
The
people.
dead people.
What was it? I'm trying to remember the
I thought that
the
was
sentence I
super
had about
well
it.
done. I
Yeah.
really liked that, and I also found it fun.
Do you remember what I said about it?
No.
Something to the effect of like what it's supposed to mean and how like even after we're gone.
Oh, the effects of us.
Yeah, like even that was the thing.
fucking
Even
shit
after
up
we're
forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like the plastic bags and like the
Uh-huh,
boats
and
are still
the-
moving.
But the bees are still working.
Yeah. When I was young, particularly when I was quite young, I always had that thought of how much better the world would be without us there.
What's a real like movement is the human extinctionist people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I always thought it because you see something online, you feel horribly guilty about, like we were talking about walking across the bridge, the animal farms
Yeah.
slaughtering.
You can just look up Chernobyl. And I mean, in the sense
Yeah.
of like the footage from Chernobyl today, where that is a big town that is no human lives there, and you can see what it's like. That's 50 years later or something.
Yeah.
You can see what it does to what the world would look like if we were suddenly gone.
But anyway, I always had that thought, and it's interesting to see it visually portrayed. I thought, as you said, it was executed.
That would have been,
And
that would have been really
But
fun.
it was still funny.
But you brought it up earlier in terms of the effectiveness of the execution and the effectiveness of the whole film. The music is terrific.
Yeah.
And
That's
the
What was
score,
the song they played again?
the score really puts you on edge.
Uh-huh.
It's a really uncomfortable kind of score. You know, I'm not good at describing music, but
Isn't it like a song at the end, like I swear it's like with lyrics, no? Or am I misremembering that?
I didn't think so.
Okay.
I thought it was a classical piece.
Is there
as
one
in,
that-
like,
is
not
there-
a
Oh,
writ-
Basket Case. Green
yeah.
Day.
Yeah. Is that then or after in the credits? I swear that
Chapel Roan's Good Luck Babe as well. I don't
No,
know.
that was
I
at the
just remember
start.
there
She was
being,
singing
like,
it in the car.
Towards the end, there's like, oh yeah, that was funny as hell.
Also, now that she's an alien, right?
I know,
So aliens like Chapel Roan.
Chapel
I
Roan's
remember-
music is like designed as
Alien
pulled
fodder.
by the oppressive elites to keep us down.
So Basket Case was played when they were torturing Michelle in the basement, and then the
Yeah.
song is Where Have All the Flowers
Yeah, that's
Gone?
right. I
It's
had the word
playing at the
flowers in
end.
my head. Yeah,
Because I think it's Begonia is a flower.
That's yeah.
Begonia, one
That's
letter
what's-
difference.
yeah.
But Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Essentially, what's happened to all, you know.
Yeah, that was actually another thing.
Which is a great song. We loved it. It was a really good song.
I had no
Marlene
idea what a
Dietrich.
freaking begonia was like when we
Marlene Dietrich.
Marlene
she,
Dietrich. Yeah,
she was that actress. She was in Touch of Evil.
that's right. We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's this old timey actress that she keeps showing up in these cameo roles. It's fucking bizarre. And she had this really deep voice, like this masculine voice, and like kind of witchy.
Was she the gypsy prostitute in?
Yeah. So remember when Orson Welles goes into that house?
Yeah,
and
the
it's
gypsy
that-
prostitute type.
This old typey woman
Yeah.
stands there talking to him for like a couple scenes. Her.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Marlene Dietrich.
But no, just the as corny as it is to say, but the sort of alternating, not really juxtaposition, but insanely modern day film and setting, and then the classical music score. It just for some reason
yeah,
works
music's great.
so well.
Also, what I
music
really
actually
liked
was so good.
as an idea, because they said that the majority of the film is written like a stage play. I think this in a theater, like a theatrical production, would be so fascinating to
Yeah.
watch.
I didn't think about was the blocking.
It
setup.
was. I mean,
I
the
didn't
whole
think about that.
the whole thing, like especially if you watch like the tracking of Plemons, they never shift angles mid shot. They always shoot it like he comes down the stairs in one shot,
Yeah.
and you still see her in the frame, like from a wide. Or
The
they'll
table
show
scene.
they'll show him coming down the stairs, but then pull back. They don't cut, so you could still technically see that if it was on stage. Same thing with the. Like obviously, you wouldn't get as good of a view of
No,
him like
yeah.
running across the
Yeah.
table, but you would still see it.
Yeah. Okay. It's cool.
Anyway,
I'm happy to kick off ratings. Have we said everything we'd like to say?
I think I've said everything other than just Yorgos. What an absolute goat! Love the guy, and he gets a special FAPS medal for being 3 films
hat-trick.
covered. Yeah, the first hat trick.
I think there's maybe one more, or
No.
this is
No,
it?
everyone's.
There's a couple twos,
There's
lots
a
of
lot of
twos.
Yeah, there's like 2 Lynches, and there's 2 Denis Villeneuves, but also Yorgos gets an extra prize because all of his are new movies.
True. Yes.
But-
Prolific.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's prolific.
anyway.
I think the last thing I want to say about Bugonia, now that I've thought it, is I think this is a movie that is very, very rewatchable. I think,
Other than the fact that it's kind of disturbing.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't want to watch
but-
it a lot.
but we've had plenty of nights where we've put on, intense or crazy
Sure,
movies
that's because we're all
because
desensitized freaks.
in the background, it's like, or you've got that choice to lock in and have a great time. And I think, for instance, the way you and I, at least on the first watch, or at the time, see the movie, you could do that time and time again.
Oh, sure.
I think just as well have a great time with it,
Sure.
without it being as draining as
Yeah.
something like One Battle After Another, which is it's not draining in the sense, but it's long and there's a lot more to sort of,
I don't know, I think I almost find it easier to have one battle after another on in the background. Just because, like, with some of the disturbing imagery, like, if you're suddenly having a chat and suddenly you turn and there's some guy's blown his head off, you'd be like, oh, what the hell? Or, like, she's getting electrocuted. You're like, oh, what the
It's like a
fuck?
dinner party.
At least one battle, you might look and kind of lockjaw as saying something
It's true.
kind of goofy.
true. Yeah. I don't know. I think I could, I was thinking about watching it the other day because I just thought I really want to watch Bugonia
Yeah, well.
right
yeah,
now,
yeah. But
It's also
it
2 hours in it,
It went by
That's
very quick.
that's
yeah.
something that needs to be appreciated more as directors, the auteurs even, making shorter films. Because Yorgos, I think, self-funds a lot of his stuff. Every minute more is a lot more money.
Well, Emma Stone has a production company, so she partly finances it, and she's involved in a lot of different things.
I listened to Stavros describe his experience of working on this movie, and I think I recall him saying that it was like working on a big indie movie. Like you have a gigantic budget, but the way that they've shot it is just like an indie movie. Yeah.
But that also is because Yorgos has never done. All of his movies are so clearly auteur visions.
Yeah.
There's no studio shooting out sort of production rubbish.
Same
thing with PTA. Like, I think One Battle After Another might be the most expensive independent movie ever.
Yeah.
That or Megalopolis.
Megalopolis.
Sold islands, watches, cars,
half of his wine.
Yeah.
Daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold his daughter.
Apparently, there's a documentary that's come out called Mega Doc, and it's
I saw that on your watch list.
Yeah, and it's about the making of it because it was such a shit show. Because he would just let the actors come up with their own stuff.
I guess
the movie was so fun.
Eleanor Coppola didn't shoot that.
It is a really interesting movie, man.
But that documentary, I think, would be really good to watch. I don't know, Megalopolis. That's a movie I'd put on in the background.
I actually find
that would be fun to have in the background.
I'm so glad that movie exists, dude, because it's just so stupid in such an amazing way.
I wouldn't say it was one of my favorite cinematic experiences, but it was one of the most memorable. Because I remember watching it going, this is so insane. And when
you watched it with us, right? We were all there.
Yeah.
Because I remember, because you were like turning to Marlon and then turning to me.
I was fucking
Marlon's
suffering.
like, and you're turning to me and I'm like,
you always know when Marlon's enjoying it because if you suddenly hear, he's not enjoying it. And I said to Barry, I'm like, I don't think Marlon's enjoying it. And Barry kind of looked at me and goes, I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm like, yeah, so am I. Like, I'm kind of having fun.
But it was one of those things where you're like, am I supposed to like this? Is that right? Am I wrong?
That's another, that one is one of the best to watch. That episode was, we talked about Megalopolis and we talked about Joker Folie à Deux. Such a banging double
what was
feature.
the special pick?
Movie.
I don't remember at all. But Altered States.
That was also a pretty wacky movie.
But Joker Folie à Deux, when we watched that, and all three of us were like, it was so bad.
It was so boring.
So excruciatingly boring and stupid and bad.
Oh, Jesus.
And then Megalopolis, where we were like, what the fuck's going on?
And there's Grace Vanderbilt in there, which is the greatest, if you know, of all time.
Which one?
Do you know Grace Vanderbilt?
The girl from America's Got Talent. Yeah.
I know her because Daniel Larson.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. You got the.
I have no idea who she is,
forgot
except
about
just Daniel Larson.
Do you remember Shia LaBeouf in that movie?
Yeah,
Where he had, there was that sex scene he had at Orchard Plaza.
Yeah.
She got on top of his face and he's going, oh my God. And it was so loud. It was like, what the fuck? Oh dude. We've had some good experiences.
I want to go back in time to watch that.
Through this podcast.
That is so funny. Anyway, anything else to say?
No, I don't think so.
Did we get up to ratings?
You were going to start.
9. Loved it.
I think I'm going to give it an 8.
I think I'll give it a 9 as well. Yeah.
Very
I really
nice.
loved it. I'll throw in, as they know, but I'll throw it in. Saw it in Italy. Saw it in Florence.
Yeah, at a really cool looking cinema.
I can't say the Italian name. It's really long, but it's this bookshop / cinema.
Oh, that's cool.
/ what's the other thing that it does?
Stage. Was it a...
Yeah, it's like 3 purpose plays.
Drama type.
Oh, there's a cafe. Cafe cinema bookshop. And watched it with a group of international cinephiles at 9 o'clock in Florence. Great city. Walked out dead as fuck. So great.
Yeah, I saw Nick's reviews, watched it, and I searched it up and I was like, holy shit. That's like, it reminded me of seeing the Gold Rush in Berlin.
Yeah.
I think
that's another one of the best cinematic experiences ever.
Absolutely.
That is so up there when we saw Gold Rush in Berlin. And I would even put Queer, it's not the same level.
It's
not the same level.
Different experience.
But when I think about, when you think about some movies that you've seen, when I think about
Memorable.
Queer, I always have a smile.
But the same thing I had with Stalker, where I was like in and out of consciousness, and you're like,
Queer was a trance.
Yeah, but when
Gold Rush was...
I mean more that when I think about Queer, I smile because I go, oh, that was a good experience. Because that was a funny-ass story. I remember us walking out of the theatre, all 3 of us, coming out oh my God.
Walking through Berlin.
Gold Rush was different. Gold Rush truly was a excellent experience.
Yeah.
That would be top 5, top 3.
Man, I really wish we didn't do cool stuff in Berlin, bro.
We did a lot of cool stuff.
I just want to hate on it so
But
bad.
there were so many things that we saw that were cool.
I know, bro. I keep like anytime something about Germany comes up, I keep like hating on Germany. I just think about how awesome and much fun we had in Germany. I'm like, no, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, like
I swear
Munich
it
as
sucks.
well. That was a good experience.
Well, I keep saying how much I hated the pub, and I'm thinking back to how much fun it was being
Yeah.
there. Like,
The pub.
Yeah, I'm like, I hated those Germans, man. They're so rude. I'm just thinking how much fun and how funny it was.
Yeah.
And we're going, we have to leave Prague to go to Berlin. But then we went to Berlin and all this cool shit happened. And we were like,
Yeah,
Berlin was kind of cool.
the city as a shithole, the experiences were
But no,
great.
the parts of
then-
Berlin are sick.
Yeah.
Some
But
parts-
then, in fairness, Berlin ended off with a kick in the nuts because the train broke
the
down.
train break down.
Yeah.
And we're
That was
yeah,
like,
we're fine.
back to
And then we had
classic
those
Berlin.
Asian Bible bashers start talking to us. Do you
Were
remember
they Christian?
They were Christians because
I
I've
just
got their
yeah.
Baptist or whatever it is thing.
They were nice though.
Yeah, they were just trying to explain to us how to get a
How to
full
get-
refund.
Yeah.
How
But,
this happens all the
but
time.
What was the Apocalypse Now thing we were doing in German?
no.
Berlin, but we're doing it in German.
My God, we're still in Berlin.
Das ist.
But no, there was more. What was the thing? Who has a message for
Yeah.
Germany? That was the thing we said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were saying that in the little cottage in France because we watched Inglourious Bastards there.
Yeah.
And how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Yeah.
Bro, what's funny is the more you mature, the more I'm comfortable with sharing that story because you're comfortable in your own manhood and masculinity. And I go, me and the boys, we spent like 15 grand to go to France and we sat in a cottage and we watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with hot chocolate and blankets.
You know what photo?
No regrets.
You know what photo I saw? I was just scrolling through the Faps photo, like our
The
chat.
one of you stretching.
No, even funnier, bro. The one of you and I in Munich.
Yeah.
On the first night.
That is the funniest photo.
That was
of all
from
time.
my bed. I was like, guys.
Have you shown Jade that?
Yeah.
Dude, that is
so fucking
That was right
funny,
before
bro.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, so funny, man.
Oh, dude, and then there was that chick with the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah. That's
We won't go into that, but like
Yeah.
a classic story.
that Europe trip was so great. So many crazy things. When the bus got raided by the German police, the dude from Iran got dragged off
No, he was
Turkey.
from Macedonia.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Macedonia. He just
No, the
had,
Turkish were the family in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were chill,
asked
they
them
were
a
chill.
million questions.
I was sitting next to the Turkish dad and he was trying to fucking feed me. He was trying to feed me nuts.
But he kept asking, the soldiers were like, you're from Turkey, and asked, how long are you staying? What are you doing? Show me the receipts. And the Australians was like, Australia, nice. What are you doing in Germany?
Yeah, what are you doing?
And I was like, holiday, you have fun. And that's all he said. He goes off, you.
yeah.
The Germans, bro.
Yeah.
They're actually all right. But then we said to the Parisians we didn't like them, and then they cheered.
yeah,
They were thrilled with that.
Yeah.
well, was it at Parisians working in an Italian restaurant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit talking
classic.
Germans.
I will say, when I was in Italy, the Italians don't dislike anyone except Americans.
They like
Yeah.
that.
Well, that was the thing as well. When you try to speak Italian, they're like happy about it.
Yeah, they're fine with it.
Whereas like, the French supposedly get mad. Although we didn't
But
have
the
that.
Italians they more care about if you're just polite rather than trying to speak their language. So
Sure.
as long as you come in and I'm like, hi, how are you? Oh, blah blah blah, and you're all respectful and shit. They're like great.
Well, Germany was the first place and the second, the first and third countries we were in this Europe trip, and
Well, technically, we also went to Austria.
for a day. One of the most common experiences we had was just people talking to us in German.
Yeah, the Germans just assumed that we would
Everyone,
spoke German.
is it like a stubbornness?
But what was it like? No, there was that one. There was that
one guy. There was a woman who had a
ticket
full
lady.
conversation.
woman
with
had a
you.
full
ticket lady.
yeah, because she thought.
No, not the ticket lady, the other one.
She was an old woman on the train to
Austria.
Amsterdam.
Oh.
And she remember
It was in the morning.
It was when the train broke down. She came up to me and started talking. The Asian
It was at the
girls.
start of the train before it started.
The Asian girls were opposite me, and that's how I started talking to them because she came up to me and I just sort of smiled and went yeah or whatever, and she smiled and laughed, and I said
She just kept talking.
and because the Asians said to me, they said, oh, you must look German. I said, yeah, it's because I'm miserable, and they laughed, and that's when the conversation started.
But the other one was when we were in Munich, or the one with me at least, when we were in Munich and we were in the pub trying to find a seat. And that guy walked past and started speaking to me in German. And
Yeah.
I was trying to remember how to say it. I don't speak German. I just said...
Also, when we were sharing,
But then he said, yes, German. Like, I don't speak German, bro.
but then we shared the table with those
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
And there was that one fool who was eating that pork
knuckle, yeah.
And we started saying to him something, and he's just, and he went English, and they all just went nothing, like just no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Okay.
become a lifestyle podcast.
I know, but
It's a bit of a rambling podcast, but it's kind of good.
no, it's been really good.
Yeah.
Barry, your pick.
Yeah, so my pick was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Now, it was a while ago that I watched this, so putting it into like a summary will be hard for me, but I do remember the movie. Essentially, you have, and I don't remember any of the characters' names either, except Jade Fox, because that's the only English one.
Yeah.
So you have the girl character, the young girl,
Jen,
and then you have the master character and his like love interest,
Lee Mubai and Yushu Lian.
And so the master character, he like wants to retire because obviously he's in love with the lady.
Who is actually Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. Anyway, like he gives the sword over to like the
his mate.
What's his position? The governor or whatever.
The governor's like adjacent.
Yeah.
Governor adjacent.
Yeah, and then the young lady who is, what's her role? She's the governess.
She's the daughter of the governor. Yeah. She's about to get married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she also wants to be like what do you call it? What are they called?
Wudon.
Yeah, she wants to be like what just filthy Westerners would call a ninja.
Yeah.
She's pretty good at it too.
So she like steals the sword, and she's been trained by.
But that's the mystery. So there's this random thief. Yeah. Like, who's this thief? And so the dude who retires has to come back.
Yeah.
And he has this whole backstory about how this person called the Jade Fox killed his master, and he wants to avenge his master, but then could never find Jade Fox.
Yeah.
And you realize that Jade Fox has been living in the governor's house the whole time and trained the governor's daughter to be this dope thief assassin girl. And then when they realize this is all going on, Lee Bumai, is that how it is? How do you say it?
Lee Mubai.
Lee Mubai, whatever. He's like...
the sick haircut.
He's like, I got to come back and finish business. And meanwhile, you got Michelle Yeoh just being dope, and she's like kind of involved in stuff. And that's, that's the movie.
So what do we think?
Well, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did. I definitely enjoyed it. It's a movie I've been meaning to see for like years and years. When I first started getting into movies when I was like 12, 13, I used to watch Chris Stuckman, this YouTube film critic, and he wrote this book, I think in 2015 or 16, called The Film Buff's Bucket List, and I bought it, and it was the first time I had read a book where it was telling me to watch movies that were not like modern superhero things, and one of them was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. I managed to get through most of the book, and like there were 3 on there that I never watched, and one of them was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But so I finally got to watch it. I'm glad that I did. Its influences are huge. I mean, in the sense that this movie clearly made an impact on cinema. I could see its influence in like Kung Fu Panda. I could see its influence in like anime, some other like sort of martial arts movies like The Raid and things like that. So it's definitely a significant movie. Some of it's aged, for sure. Yep. Some of the CGI is terrible. There is this one bit where she was jumping off a waterfall to catch the sword.
Yeah,
it looked so bad.
Yeah.
Now, and also Shang-Chi, that was the other one. I remember Shang-Chi's whole opening. I know you don't really remember Shang-Chi, but at the start, his dad is there and goes into the forest, and him and his future wife have this fight through the trees, and they're somehow gliding through the trees. And I was like,
that's real.
That was cool though, actually.
But I'm like, that's the end of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's literally what happens. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. All of the influence and blah 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 is there. Other parts of it I didn't think had aged. Like I always knew that it had that sort of they leap very far and thing. I didn't find that. It didn't take me out of the movie. I just sort of accepted that that's the way it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't super into all of the action. Like some of it I felt was a bit repetitive, a bit too close. I thought the best action scene by far was when Jen got cornered in this tavern, and she had this fight with the
randoms.
With all these random dudes, and she starts fighting, and at the end she does this. She says something, and then the whole like middle of it just fell
destroys the entire plot.
And I was just like, nice, that was sick. But anyway, someone else say something.
Well, you want to say something or?
In a similar vein, this was when I looked back right before I watched it over last night and this morning. It was one of the first 10 films in my watch list that I had not gotten to, and I now have 300. Yeah. So just prolonged, delayed. So thank you very much for picking it. I had a good time. I think it was whether it was a sort of foreign film thing or an age thing, I think it did drag a little bit, even though it's 2 hours. I think some of the fighting did get a bit repetitive. What I did really like though was I wouldn't say the word complexity, but the still human and real relationships between these characters in an exaggerated action, kung fu type movie. You've got the complexity of Lee, and you, just switch them around, their relationship, which is essentially never came to fruition because Lee's master liked her long ago. And there's this sort of unspoken thing between them, and they both know they like each other, but neither wants to act upon it, even though he's trying to initiate something. And so there's moments of silence between them where they're not touching. There's nothing romantic, but there is just such a real tension between them, and
sort of a lived-in character.
Exactly. These guys have known each other forever type thing. And apparently they're both stalwarts of the genre as well.
Yeah, that's right. And
something I was reading is most of the action they did themselves.
Yeah. So Michelle Yeoh could actually kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
Like, that's a fact.
Yeah.
She's actually cool. She can do stuff.
Which is, I think, even better. It makes you appreciate it more when you know that these are, it's like in the same vein as Tom Cruise doing Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Or Ray something, Darth Maul,
Wait, what was his name?
Ray Park.
Ray Park.
Yeah.
That's right.
He does all the shit for Darth Maul, and then is the actor.
Or even Hayden Christensen used to do. He did all the lightsaber stuff.
And Ewan McGregor as well. Yeah. It makes you appreciate it more in that sense. But then,
but I could see the influence that Crouching Tiger had on like the prequels.
Well, that's what I was
jumping and shit.
I was hesitant to say that, but I did think it because obviously very similar time frames. Crouching Tiger 2000, and then.
But all of the more exaggerated leaping stuff, I think, is especially present in Revenge of the Sith, which is well after Crouching Tiger.
5 years. Yeah. You've got Mustafa essentially.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wanted to say with the jumping and leaping, etc., is I was talking to Isaac about it, and I attributed it, in my opinion, to like a sort of a cultural storytelling and mythology type sort of portrayal of ninjas and the kung fu and martial arts traditions. And I was saying to him how I could absolutely picture, stories 1,000 years ago or whatever being told of the warriors that glide through the air and stuff. And so, the people that hate on it or say it takes them away from it, I think are misguided and misplacing their sort of perspective of the film. And I think, honestly, it creates a great whimsical and light-hearted nature to what is, when you look at it from the jealousy and temptation and control themes that it has, quite light-hearted.
Yeah.
In that.
The other thing that the fights are really, they're not just like eye candy or whatever, because the way that they fight reveals things about their character and then thematically reveals stuff. So the fight between, is the master name Lee?
Yeah, the guy with the crazy...
Yeah, I'm just going to call them like the master.
The main guy.
The main guy and the girl who steals the... Jen. So Jen is like spastic, bro. Like she's going crazy and he's just chilling, And it reveals, because the master is like, he's like the Confucian guy of like restraint and duty and so on. Whereas Jen's character is like this, like, she just wants freedom and the self-control and like to get her own identity and so on. And not to be restrained by the tradition of, her culture. Yeah,
organized marriage.
And I think that is the central tension in the movie that it's trying to explore, is like this like line between the Chinese traditions and following with Confucianism and so on.
And modern.
And like this, gender equality and all this stuff. And it happens on so many different levels for like each character. Like obviously the relationship between the two older characters and then Jen's character and her relationship with the guy in the desert. Like the desert is, I think, supposed to be like the most quote unquote free. I mean, if you think of freedom as like
no restraint.
Clearly
supposed to be Mongolia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's, or at least if not Mongolia, where I think it's where the Uyghur people are from.
So
Right.
yeah,
Is that Shenzhen?
far
Shit.
western China, northwestern.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Don't know the name.
But they
of
were
the city.
dressed like Mongols.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I think that I can't.
Like
I mean, maybe
And the
they
way
are.
they attacked is how the
with the
Mongols would
horses,
attack.
the immediate fast rushing.
Yeah, that's how Mongols would attack.
I mean, we can check.
But anyway, well, I'm trying to think. First of all, with regards to the pacing, how Marlon brought up like the pacing, I didn't think that it dragged. The only thing I would say is that I thought there was actually too much action.
Well, that's
There
what
were
I think.
there were too many fights. I thought there were parts of it that I didn't feel were repetitive, and when I didn't, it was because when the fight actually had some sort of narrative weight. So like towards the end, all of the fights all were super engaging because they had been built up. Like the fight between Jen and Michelle Yeoh, which I thought was fantastic.
Well, you got the one at the start as well with that, which is also I think one
yeah.
of the better ones
That was
in the
good.
film.
And obviously the big finish at the end with through the trees between Lee and Jen is all very good. But there's a lot of sort of mini fights in the middle, which I wasn't super keen on because they did feel a bit samey and there wasn't any sort of weight to them. So I was kind of like, okay, like I was until towards the last third, I was more enjoying it when it was conversations between Lee and Michelle Yeoh and just two close-ups. Because I mean, the movie looks really good, super well shot.
Yeah.
It's very clean. I mean, Ang Lee's great director. He did Brokeback Mountain,
Sense
Life
and
of Pi.
Sensibility.
He's a proper good director. So these conversation scenes and everything are all really, really good. And I also really like the way just even the actors carry themselves. You kind of understand, like you buy it. Like Master Lee, when he walks around, you could see how he is this calm, composed warrior figure. I really enjoyed that. I did find the whole flashback too long. That was they spent a long time, even though that was part of the most beautiful parts of it in terms of the photography. It looked awesome, but suddenly you just have this very lengthy flashback with this character who doesn't show up until the very end. Low, I think his name was.
Yeah, Low Dark Cloud.
Yeah, so he turns up out of nowhere in the middle of the story. They have this massive flashback, and you
Yeah.
don't see him again until right at the very end.
I think
the
that's on
ending was-
purpose, though.
The ending was cool. I really liked the ending.
Where they're talking about the mythology of the young boy.
Yeah, and
Wish.
also Master Lee's death was actually sad. That was legitimately sad. I didn't expect it.
Jade Fox.
Didn't expect, although her death was great
Yeah.
when she came in, so throwing all that bullshit. I mean, it was a little too ridiculous where he's doing this. It was like, that's some lightsaber shit. But all of a sudden, all of the needles just went through her and she's just fucking murked, like just slimed instantly. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
She was so annoying. I was like, fuck
I hated
off.
Jade Fox, and she's like complaining about how she was betrayed by.
Oh, I know.
By Jen.
Yeah.
But to go to the point of like the flashback being too long, I think that's actually intentional, because if the desert is supposed to represent like the freedom beyond like tradition and stuff, it also sits outside the narrative. It's like this, thing that doesn't quite fit, and it disrupts the flow of like the traditional narrative. So I think it's almost a intentional meta way of.
But in terms of a
enjoyment
experience,
yeah.
it's and also I don't get me wrong, like it's not a massive detraction because low key when you think about it, this movie doesn't really have much of a plot.
Yeah.
He kind of turns up. They're fighting over the sword, but there's not really like
Revenge
any-
and
Powerful
seeking of a
plot or
sword.
anything.
Yeah, but it's just general. It's more about the characters and how they're relating to one another. Because ultimately, towards the end, there's not like a ton of resolution. Like Lee dies, Jen doesn't necessarily become his apprentice. She jumps through the clouds. She could very well have just killed herself. There's a lot of things that happen.
Well, that's obviously also,
know.
I mean, to do with the myth of the dude whose like parents were dying or some shit.
No, I know. Like I understand.
How do you interpret that though? I'm not sure how to like exactly.
Well, I think one has to come at it from if you are like favor belief in mythology. Like I'm sure like a Confucian or whatever would watch it and go, oh, their dream would have come true because she did the jump. But obviously if you're sitting there and you don't really buy into mythology, I don't think anyone's sitting there going, oh, she just killed herself.
No, but
that's a really depressing ending.
Yeah.
But I think it's more of just a vague thing. Like it almost it's like a fairy tale. And
Yeah.
it just
Exactly.
ends
Yeah,
that
yeah,
way.
yeah.
Well, that's also what the gliding fights get attributed to as well. It's a unrealistic sort of beyond the real world tale. it's like watching a great book or a great tale about times long ago, you know. And there's I can't remember if I think it's a quote from the movie. One of the women says, you know, because they're reading a book, do you think, you know, the book talks about the washing of the dishes and the drying of the clothes or some shit? And then it's Jen and I think one of the older ladies. And it's like, no, the book talks about all the great, you know, amazing things that happen. So I think seeing the movie do those things, I think it fits, you know.
Like, obviously, I don't necessarily take it. It's definitely not a depressing ending, but I also don't take it as hopeful. I actually more just took it like I've just watched a fairy tale.
Yeah.
And it's ending with
ambiguity.
And then she jumped ...
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and it's kind of like, fade out.
And then he woke up.
And then you go and live your life. You know,
Yeah.
you take the movie into your life. Mm-hmm. I think it's obviously ambiguous on purpose, and maybe that's also something to do with the.
But it did feel like a classic fairy tale. I mean, Jesus, we've got like the green destiny sword, where it's like basically fucking Excalibur.
Yeah.
My favorite.
And I'm so into that. Like, I'm such a fantasy nerd.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I want the green destiny where it's cutting through other swords. It's doing badass shit. Like, isn't Jon Snow's sword did that?
Yeah.
There's that part where he got attacked by a White Walker and it didn't break.
And they're like, oh.
And the White was like, what? And John's like, yeah, bitch. And then kills him. Like, yes.
One of the things I enjoyed most is all like the petty warriors having like the Kahoot names.
The Kahoot names?
You know, like
like in the bar,
you know,
in the bar.
flying. Stuff like that. It's like a Kahoot name.
But that scene was literally the opening of the first Kung Fu Panda, where Po's having a dream and he goes, he was a warrior and he sat in the cafe and he swallowed, then he spoke. Because all these soldiers go, enough talk, let's fight. And then suddenly the cafe's getting destroyed because he's just ninjutsu killing all these different guys. And they honestly looked like the animals in the movie, in the sense like, you've got all these different dudes. You've got like one guy,
big dude, small
shaved
dude.
head with a huge hammer. And in the movie, you've got like this big rhino with the hammer, and he's bald and he gets knocked. And I'm like, that's literally just Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And like all of the things, Shen with his weird needle shit.
Exactly.
That's just Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And I that was cool about it. It was one of those things where I was like, oh, I get it. Mm-hmm. Because that Crouching Tiger is a movie that like my mum has said, oh, you should watch this.
Yeah.
And I can understand, like, especially if I saw this if I was 10 years old. This would be my favorite movie when I was 10 years old.
I used to love watching, you know, in a similar vein, Bruce Lee films with my dad when I was like 7.
Yeah.
You know.
But like, if someone said to me, like, this is their favorite movie from their childhood, I'm like, yeah, I get it, 100%. Like, it's fun and all the other things. And also just its influence. It's pretty amazing how influential it is considering it's not that old. Mm-hmm. But you really see it in modern cinema, how massive this was. So it's cool that we finally got to see it.
Anything else to say?
Sweet. Not really.
Yeah?
No.
Detractors?
I mean, I've already talked about
Flashback.
it. Yeah, I mean, like, it was a fairly, like, predictable movie. I mean, the whole at the start where the assassin, it's like, it's a man. I'm like, bruh, look at her eyes.
No, yeah.
Look at her eyes.
Look at
It's
the
the most
build.
effeminate girl thing I've ever seen in my life.
But I guess the point is maybe that's actually intentional, where it's like, it's so impossible that it could be a woman. No woman could be that good.
Sure.
Which is the whole, you know, at the time,
but see,
one of the interpretations is that, you know, look at all these empowered women.
Yeah, but I didn't find it to be like some movie pushing women's equality. I thought it was a more general pushing of freedom of expression. Because with regards to women's equality, like the main male character, the stoic male, was like actively trying to get Jen to be his apprentice. Mm-hmm. It's not like he was like, you're a woman, but I think you need to go back and be calm and not fight. He's like, you should fight, you're great.
Yeah,
you know? I didn't really think that the thesis of the movie is that women need to be empowered. I'm like, I think the movie's on women's side.
Yeah.
It's definitely not like trying to prove a point.
No, but that's by already placing it, and that's the thing that a lot of other movies through that genre
it's already challenging.
That culture aren't doing.
I think you're right though. Like, the movie isn't like, okay, we're just going to care about like women equality. I think that's something that comes along as like a free lunch with the freedom thesis, because traditionally, I like in almost every society, you know, the women have been like given less freedom. And so obviously, if you're going to make a movie about like freedom versus tradition and duty, that's going to be the easiest way to get that through.
And Michelle Yeoh's character talks about how her and Lee suffer from the exact same problem.
Yeah.
The fact that they're so duty bound that they can't be together. And so therefore they're both restricted in their freedoms regardless of sex.
Yeah. And they can only be together in death, when he's released from his duties.
Yeah. Which is something like, again, where I say it doesn't really have a plot. Like, obviously, to a certain extent, you know how the stories wrap up because he dies, and so X and Y won't happen, and that's how it resolves. But at the same time, they kind of, if the movie builds up to all these things, and this isn't a negative, but it just builds up these different things, and it doesn't really get resolved. Like, she's supposed to go marry, or maybe she'll run off and be with that guy, but instead she just jumps off. And there's no decision made. She just jumps off into the clouds.
You get to decide.
Michelle Yeoh, doesn't go after her, but is mourning him. So maybe she's free because he's passed away, but also he's dead. Like, you don't know if she's going to have a happy life now because she's got nothing, etc. Like, I thought that she was actually going to take the sword at the end, but I thought it made sense given her character to go take it back to Sirte or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, I liked the ending quite a bit, actually. Even though I was kind of going, where is this going? Like, what the fuck? Yeah.
That's also one of the other great things about it is the cinematography from Ang Lee and whoever shot it, and the scale and the sort of lived-in Chinese culture that it does portray.
Also, the colours were great.
Yeah.
Like, the greens really pop out of the trees, the deserts, of the red of the deserts.
You know, that insane, the mountains at the ending, right? Like, that's a real fucking place somewhere in China. That is ridiculous. It's like a heaven.
China is so sick, bro.
China definitely is a place it would be so good to backpack through China.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, where is those mountains in China?
That's more north, to my understanding.
I'm not sure, but
Pretty sure.
China's very... I think...
Because the wall is north.
The wall it's fucking everywhere.
Dude, these mountains are crazy, man.
But, no, China is, I think, essentially number 1 or 2 on my bucket list of countries.
Yeah,
it's Canada and China.
China's so bad.
Canada would be cool.
Canada and China are my top 2.
Yeah. I think backpacking China.
And Scotland. Scotland and...
China and the stands, bro.
Well, China stand.
And Mongolia.
Once we do South America, China stands next up.
For sure, man.
It's next up, 100%.
We're doing that. We have to do that literally just the next year.
No, yeah. 100%.
I'm not waiting, bro.
Well, China stands cheap as fuck. Other than China, which is... I mean, it's not expensive. But the stands could not be cheaper. They have, like, no GDP.
Yeah.
It's like... It's easy, bro.
And then you're going to be staying in, like...
But it's... But that's one thing. The China stand trip is like a backpacking holiday.
Yeah.
Backpacking.
That's cool. There's, like, no infrastructure.
Guys, I know how to say a couple words in Chinese. We're sorted.
What?
Oh my god. Hurry up. Do you need help a bit?
Chow di ma.
What's that mean?
I'm not entirely sure. I just...
Chatting what?
I just know that it's something...
Oh, God.
Something not good. It's just... That's what my
Wait, I reckon
says.
N27.
Yeah.
We'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, end of 27.
我的天哪.
That's pretty good.
Oh my god.
That's good.
Because, yeah, by the way, guys...
Tian Xiao.
Pretty soon. I mean, Marlon's about to go away. He's going to Japan and South Korea, which is pretty tight. But this time next year, we'll be going off to South America. Pretty exciting.
So there'll be another month without a podcast.
Another month without a podcast. And then we'll be like, look,
Dude, it'd be kind of cool to do a South America, like,
jammy podcast.
on the beach, bro.
We're doing it in Brazil. Suddenly
get
the
our
mic gets
phones
taken.
stolen.
No! Suddenly these Brazilians are like, we are now Phipps Podcast. They're like actually a fans.
That'd be awesome, dude, if they had like Brazilian versions of each of us.
Oh, great.
Oh, that's good.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll wrap this up.
Recommendation? Oh, we haven't done ratings.
Rating.
True.
Hit us with it, Isaac.
Oh, I don't know. I'm like leaning... I think I'm going to give it a 7.
I was going to give it a 7 as
There we
well.
go.
Yeah.
7.
I was tempted to give
7
it an
and
8.
8 is definitely the threshold.
But I didn't find
Again,
it
with
that
the
compelling.
rewatch, although I'm not super compelled to rewatch it because I didn't feel like there'd be a lot to get out of it at the
Yeah.
time.
It's just kind of cool.
I think in cinema it would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. Like on
Great
film.
score. We forgot to mention that. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome traditional score. Yeah.
On film would be cool.
Much better than
35 mil
on my
new
laptop.
film would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually did have
High
it on
movies,
the TV.
thank you. High movies.
I rented it on Apple and had it on the TV.
Well, I was like,
sweet.
do I want to pay $5? I was like, nah. So I finally got a TV, you know. It's,
Yes.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
No, what?
This
Go.
is not a movie. This is. Have you guys been watching Pluribus?
no.
No.
I'm trying to get my dad's login. Anyway, pick Nick.
Okay, so this is gonna be so good. Such a perfect choice to actually talk about as a movie. So this director, I'm a fan. I'm not commenting on his personal beliefs, but I'm a fan of him, and I've seen a lot of his stuff, and he's very, very good. And this is a movie I've always wanted to see, Passion of the Christ, by Mel Gibson. So Passion of the Christ is a movie I want to see for ages.
I think it's been a while since Mel Gibson went crazy.
Mel Gibson movie I haven't seen. Mel Gibson is a talented filmmaker. He is. He's a great actor and a great director. I'm not going to comment at all about his personal things. He said some weird shit. I don't really know the full extent of it.
I don't even know what he said.
He's a weird dude, but talented man. And anyway, Passion of the Christ, I'm very fascinated about because he is a very Catholic man. And with that, I mean, actually tackling Christianity would be an interesting thing to see someone truly devout portray on screen. It's supposed to be incredibly violent because it depicts the last days of Jesus' life. And yeah, I've always wanted to see it. And I just thought this would be really good for the podcast.
Top review, some jackass at the theater gave away the ending. That's good. Oh, on the topic of Mel Gibson, I remember seeing something that apparently, like, you wonder, like, how he could have, like, these kind of views. But apparently his dad was, like...
Oh, really?
Like, way worse.
When I bring up Mel Gibson, I literally have not done any research. I know he said
no clue
he's made some very anti-Semitic remarks. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I'm not advocating for him as a person, but as a filmmaker purely, he's very talented. Braveheart was a banger. Apocalypto was a banger. Hacksaw Ridge was a banger.
I knew he directed none of those, and I've seen them all.
Yeah, he directed all those. Braveheart.
Actually, I haven't seen Apocalypto.
Apocalypto is great, but Braveheart's amazing.
Braveheart is great.
He's in Gallipoli.
He's in Gallipoli.
Classic.
He's also he's a good actor. But Passion of the Christ is something I'm very, very fascinated about, and I think like as a conversation would be very interesting.
He's in the original
Because some
Mad
people
Max too, right?
like, huh?
He's in the original
Probably.
Mad Max.
Yes, he's the original Mad Max as well. The comment is always like, oh, because some Christians don't like the movie because it's like Hollywoodizing Christ's death. Other people are like, what are we supposed to get out of this? Like,
we know the story.
But Jesus being killed. Like, Anyway, I think it'll be very interesting. So, yeah.
Cool. Right?
That's it.
Happy fapping.
I'll see you in like April of 26.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.